Can you imagine waking up to news that the US and North Korea have gone to war, and knowing the outcome depends on what happened while you slept? Right now, 28,500 American troops are stationed just 35 miles from the North Korean border, facing off against 1.2 million active soldiers. You're about to witness the real battle plan, using actual military capabilities both sides possess today. The stakes couldn't be higher. This isn't just about two militaries clashing, it's about nuclear weapons and 50 million people living in the blast zone. North Korea possesses between 30 to 60 nuclear warheads and thousands of artillery pieces aimed directly at Seoul, a city of 10 million people located just 35 miles from the DMZ. Former Secretary of Defense James Mattis stated that a war with North Korea would result in casualties unlike anything we've seen since World War II. We're going to break down every phase using actual military doctrine, weapon systems, and strategic decisions that would shape the outcome in 24 hours. Here's what you'll discover. First, the trigger, what starts the conflict and how both sides respond. Then, the opening strikes, including North Korea's artillery barrage and America's precision response. Next, the air war, as stealth fighters dominate the skies. After that, special operations missions targeting nuclear sites. Then, the ground invasion across the DMZ. Finally, the nuclear question. Would Kim Jong-un use these weapons, and how would America respond? Every detail is based on actual capabilities and expert analysis. Intelligence detects unusual activity. North Korean missile units moving to launch positions. The U.S. Indo-Pacific Command receives this information, and within minutes it reaches the Pentagon and White House. The president faces an impossible choice: launch a preemptive strike to neutralize North Korea's capabilities, or wait and risk catastrophic damage to Seoul. According to a 2017 Congressional Research Service report, North Korea can fire 10,000 artillery rounds in the first hour with little warning. The decision window is measured in minutes, not hours. At minute 15, the U.S. executes Operation 50-15, designed specifically for this conflict. South Korea activates their Korea Massive Punishment and Retaliation Plan. Both focus on rapid decapitation strikes, eliminating leadership and nuclear capabilities immediately. But North Korea detects unusual aircraft movements. At minute 28, Kim Jong-un gives the order: execute the preemptive strike against South Korea and U.S. forces. At minute 30, both sides are committed. The first shots come from artillery. North Korea has 8,600 artillery pieces and 5,500 multiple rocket launchers positioned within range of Seoul. They open fire simultaneously, launching between 10,000 to 16,000 rounds per hour. The RAND Corporation estimated in 2020 that the first day of artillery fire alone could result in tens of thousands of casualties. Simultaneously, North Korea launches approximately 100 short-range ballistic missiles targeting U.S. military bases in South Korea and Japan. Patriot missile batteries and THAAD systems intercept 85 to 90% of missiles, but some get through. Osan Air Base takes multiple hits, with aircraft destroyed on the ground. American F-35 stealth fighters, already airborne, begin hunting North Korean missile launchers. AGM-158 JASSM cruise missiles launched from B-1B bombers streak toward command bunkers at 550 miles per hour. By hour 1, parts of northern Seoul are burning. American bases have taken damage. North Korean artillery positions are being systematically destroyed. Both sides prepare for the next phase. North Korea operates 810 combat aircraft, mostly outdated Soviet-era models from the 1960s and 70s. The U.S. and South Korea counter with 600 modern combat aircraft, including F-35s, F-22 Raptors, and F-15 Strike Eagles. The technological advantage is overwhelming. An F-22 can detect and engage North Korean aircraft before they know an American fighter is present. But North Korea's real defense is their integrated air defense system, with 11,000 anti-aircraft guns and hundreds of surface-to-air missiles. F-16CJ Wild Weasel aircraft hunt these radar systems with AGM-88 HARM missiles. When a North Korean radar activates, the HARM follows that signal back to its source at Mach 2, destroying the system. B-52 bombers release waves of cruise missiles from outside North Korean air defense range. Each bomber carries 20 AGM-86 cruise missiles with 1,000-pound warheads. B-2 Spirit bombers penetrate deep into North Korean airspace completely undetected, striking underground facilities where leadership and nuclear weapons are stored. By hour 6, the U.S. has achieved air superiority, the ability to conduct operations without prohibited interference from enemy aircraft. North Korean airfields are cratered and their air defense network is degraded by 70%. Priority 1. Secure or destroy North Korea's nuclear weapons before they can be used. Special Operations Forces, including Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, and Delta Force, insert via high-altitude parachute drops, submarine-launched vehicles, and infiltration across the DMZ. These small teams of 12 to 20 operators move through hostile territory to reach facilities guarded by North Korea's most elite units. Their mission is incredibly dangerous. Former Special Operations officers describe these as one-way trips in worst-case scenarios. Other teams hunt mobile missile launchers. North Korea uses underground tunnels and rapid repositioning to keep missiles safe. U.S. teams work with real-time satellite imagery to locate launchers, calling in airstrikes, or engaging directly. South Korean Special Operations Forces target North Korea's forward artillery positions, conducting raids behind enemy lines in brutal close-quarters combat. By hour 12, several mobile missile launchers have been destroyed and some artillery neutralized. However, the nuclear facilities remain largely intact. Their defenses are too strong for small teams to breach alone. The 2nd Infantry Division and 1st Marine Division, along with South Korean Army units, begin offensive operations across the DMZ. The demilitarized zone is the most heavily fortified border on Earth, 160 miles long, with minefields, tank traps, and defensive positions North Korea has spent 70 years perfecting. M1 Abrams tanks lead assault columns, while combat engineers used mine-clearing line charges to detonate safe corridors through minefields. Apache attack helicopters engage defensive positions with Hellfire missiles and 30mm cannon fire. North Korea's strategy is defense in depth, using thousands of underground bunkers. They can't stop an American advance, but they can make it costly enough that political will collapses. They operate 5,500 tanks, mostly outdated Soviet models, but still deadly in urban terrain where battles are fought at close range. The fighting is intense and chaotic. American forces have better equipment and air support, but North Korean soldiers fight from prepared positions on home territory. By hour 18, American and South Korean forces have penetrated 15 to 20 miles into North Korean territory. Key highways are secured and strategic mountain passes captured. Casualties on both sides are heavy. Combat intensity rivals World War II. Would North Korea actually use nuclear weapons? Intelligence analysts believe Kim Jong-un views them as the ultimate guarantee against regime change. But the doctrine suggests if the regime faces imminent collapse, nuclear weapons would be used. By hour 18, North Korea's conventional military is being systematically destroyed. This is exactly when nuclear use becomes most likely. At hour 19, satellite imagery detects activity at a nuclear storage facility. The intelligence is unclear. Preparation for use or relocation to prevent capture. The president faces the most consequential decision: authorize a preemptive nuclear strike on North Korean facilities or maintain conventional operations and risk a North Korean nuclear attack. North Korea likely has the ability to strike anywhere in South Korea and Japan with 10 to 30 kiloton nuclear weapons. A single weapon over Seoul would kill hundreds of thousands instantly. The U.S. response would be overwhelming, dozens of nuclear strikes designed to completely eliminate North Korea's ability to launch additional attacks. But there's China to consider, who views nuclear use by either side as unacceptable and could trigger Chinese intervention. By hour 24, the nuclear weapons remain unused. Kim Jong-un is still hoping for negotiated settlement or Chinese intervention. The threshold hasn't been crossed, but everyone knows it could still happen. Air superiority achieved. 60% of North Korea's artillery within range of Seoul is destroyed. 3 major axes penetrated 15 to 20 miles into North Korean territory. U.S. casualties estimated at 1,000 to 2,000 killed and wounded. South Korean casualties significantly higher, 20,000 to 50,000 military and civilian combined from the Seoul artillery barrage. 70% of combat aircraft destroyed, air defense networks severely degraded, ground forces suffered 10,000 to 15,000 casualties, but the bulk of their army remains intact in defensive positions. Most critically, nuclear weapons appear secure and unused. The artillery barrage on Seoul resulted in the highest civilian casualties of any single day since World War II. Millions displaced, critical infrastructure damaged, hospitals overwhelmed. The U.S. has operational momentum, but North Korea's leadership remains intact and they still control their nuclear arsenal. The question has shifted from, can we win, to how quickly can we achieve regime collapse without triggering nuclear use? The first 24 hours of a war between the United States and North Korea would be unlike anything the world has seen since 1945. Casualties would be measured in tens of thousands within a single day. Every weapon system described exists. Every strategy mentioned is part of actual military planning. The terrible mathematics of modern warfare, it's all real. Here's what matters. Prevention is infinitely preferable to victory. The human cost would be catastrophic for everyone involved, with no true winners. Diplomatic engagement serves a crucial purpose. It keeps channels open and provides alternatives to military action. The military professionals who plan for this scenario don't want it to happen. They understand the cost better than anyone. Their job is to be prepared for the worst while hoping diplomacy prevents it. The choice between peace and war isn't just made by presidents and generals. It's influenced by public understanding and the collective will of nations to choose dialogue over conflict. You now know what the first 24 hours would look like. The question is, what are you going to do with that knowledge? The best military victory is the war that never happens.